Have you ever felt inadequate? Like you just don't belong? Everyone around you seems so competent and they seem to know exactly what they're doing, and you just feel like you're faking it. You don't belong here, and everyone else just doesn't seem to be able to see it. This is called imposter syndrome. It's feeling inadequate despite your evidence of success and a huge fear of being exposed as a fraud. This is really, really common, and it affects people across all professions and all walks of life. It affects me very deeply, and it's something that I struggle with on a pretty daily basis, that I'm not supposed to be here, that I don't deserve my success, and that I'm not good enough and I never will be. Especially after leaving my YouTube channel and starting a new one, and the loss that I felt watching my YouTube channel that I had grown kind of crash and burn. I really felt like I wasn't supposed to be here. I wasn't supposed to be in this community, and I had always been a fraud. I recently had a comment that said, and hopefully they're okay with me reading it out, but it said, "I'm struggling with perfection pressure. I'm married to a very successful pastelist and art instructor, and now I'm also an art school dropout. Art school was the last straw at sucking the life out of my confidence and ability to play with art. I committed 2.5 years to it, hoping to find my voice, only to eventually realize I was getting further from that goal than ever. I know in my gray matter that I need to experiment and just goof off with all the stuff in my studio, but I'm so blocked I can't even go in there. It feels like I've been suffocated by expectations from every direction, including and mostly internal. This video was very soothing. Thank you so much for the permission to just relax and be with the paint and paper." So Nuj Janujerson, this video is for you and for anyone else that feels that pressure and that related to that comment, because I know that I did. And this comment really does highlight some of the common triggers for imposter syndrome. So a big one is comparing oneself to somebody else, comparing yourself to others. I know this is a big one for me. I am huge. It's such a bad habit of mine to be like, oh, but this person is better than you. This person is more successful than you. Why is this person being successful and you aren't? And there are productive ways to look at other artists and other creators and be inspired. And then there's also negative ways where you're just comparing yourself in a negative light. And along with that comes this huge fear of failure and perfectionism. And I think those two really tie in together. Fear of failure and perfectionism are two things that can stop you from ever starting. And they are huge, huge influences when it comes to imposter syndrome, because you're so afraid of failing that you don't feel like you belong. Like you feel like, I'm going to fail. I'm a fraud. Nobody realizes this and I'm going to let everybody down. So you don't want to do that. You feel like, I want everything to be perfect. I want to be a success. I want to be this person. And it becomes this thing that just crushes you, because there is a societal expectation of like perfectionism. And there's this huge imbalance in the way that art is represented on social media, where so often you see the finished piece, you don't see the messy in-between stages. And if you do, they're not highlighted, and when people do see those messy in-between stages, I've seen it happen on Instagram. They attack the artist and say, you're so bad, you're so bad. No, you don't realize that art gets bad before it gets better, and that is okay. So these social media things that we see it can be so negative to comparing ourselves to others, as well as just showing like the perfection and the finished work, but not showing the messy and beautiful in its own way process. So, you also maybe like have a fear of criticism or evaluation, and that is totally valid and normal, because our art is such a reflection of ourselves and who we are as a person that criticism can feel like a direct attack on us. And just remember that criticism is your choice whether to take it or not. Take every criticism and think about it. Do they actually have a valid point when you set aside your personal feelings? Or is it something you can just blow off? Because a lot of times it's somebody that doesn't understand your piece or isn't an artist and doesn't, get why you did the thing that you did. So, balance criticism, but don't allow fear of criticism to control you and make you feel like this fraud. Because I'm telling you, We are all scared of criticism. We are all scared of failure. We are all scared of not being perfect. The majority of people experience imposter syndrome at some point in their life. It is very common across all disciplines. It's not just art. It happens in, pretty much everything that you can think of. There are people that are like, I'm not good enough to be here. I mean, my sister experiences it as a veterinary technician. And this is a natural response to challenging situations. So it is normal for you to feel this way. And please don't beat yourself up for feeling this way. You are not a bad person for feeling this way. You're not a bad artist. You're not somebody that just needs to look on the bright side. No, this is a real feeling that a lot of people really struggle with. And acknowledging that it's normal and that it's natural is a huge first step to overcoming it. So how do we kind of overcome imposter syndrome? Well, like I said, the first thing is to kind of accept that it's normal and accept that you may never fully get out of it. I feel like there's always going to be days that you're going to feel like you just don't know what you're doing, but just allow that to happen. Know that it's normal, and take some time to reflect on your past successes. What have you done that is good and that is great and that you're proud of and that you've completed in the past? Look back on the things that you've done and know, I did that. I can do it again. And you also want to acknowledge your personal contributions. What have you given to this world? I look back on my YouTube channel and I'm like, yeah, it is tragic the way that it ended. But at the same time, I was able to create a really amazing community, so many of whom have stuck with me, even following me to this new channel. So thank you guys for that. And seek support, reach out to your friends and talk to them, because I bet they feel the same way about their own career, and you guys can commiserate together and just kind of acknowledge that, this is not something that I'm alone in. And finally, you really want to practice self-compassion. I guess not finally, I actually have a couple more things, but practice self-compassion and self-care. Treat yourself with kindness and take that time to just enjoy your art instead of focusing on this perfect result and making it, 100% the way that you want it. You can focus on just the creation and the process of the creation. And remember that so long as you are creating, you are not a fraud. You belong in this community. You are an artist and we welcome you. Challenge those negative thoughts. Reframe your self-doubt in your head when you're thinking, I can't do this. Reframe it. This is challenging for me, but I believe that I can take this challenge on. Or, this is hard for me, but every single mistake I make, I learn from. Reframe that stuff. And then set realistic goals for yourself. I love the SMART goals idea. I think it's I forget what it stands for, but something measurable, achievable, realistic. I forget what the S and the T are, but basically set realistic goals that you can measure and that you can weigh things by, I'm going to make one sketch a day or something like that, because then you're not judging yourself based on necessarily the quality of the artwork that you make, but just on, am I creating that day? Am I making something for myself? So I have a goal to create every single day. I don't create every single day for YouTube, for Instagram, for my store, but I do create every day for me. So that's kind of my thoughts on imposter syndrome, kind of that it's normal and that it's okay. And I really want you guys to know that we all experience this. I experience it. So many of us experience it. And just treat yourself with kindness. Know that it's normal. Treat yourself with kindness. Remember that you can get through this and you do have a place in our community. So that's pretty much it about the imposter syndrome. Quick couple notes on the painting. I'm painting some flowers in kind of an abstract impressionist sort of style, using the Holbein acrylic wash, which I absolutely adore. And also there is a snowplow going by outside. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. But also using this new little paint palette that I made myself. So just wanted to highlight that for a moment. This little paint palette, the green one that you've been seeing, that is made by me. There are ones for sale in my store at www.shopaliceanderson.com. There are also a bunch of other artists supplies such as brush rests and other types of palettes, pencil bags, and aprons. So definitely check it out if you're an artist and you're interested in some cute new art supplies, because self-care is making your art space aesthetic, right? I'm just kidding, but this video is sponsored by my own store. Thanks so much, me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it helped, and I love you guys so much. Remember that you belong, and I love you. Take care. Bye.